Welcome to video 2 of chapter 8. We're going to continue talking about brand familiarity, and just a couple points that I want you to be aware of with this is that it usually takes a lot of time, a lot of money to actually build brand awareness. Also, familiar brands, the goal of having a familiar brand is to convey trust with your customers and potential clients. And customers may have past experience with a brand and expect new products to be of similar quality. So as Nike comes out with new products, if they have had good experience with Nike products in the past, they are expecting to have good experiences with Nike products in the future as well. Now, in this example that you see on the slide here, on the left-hand side of the slide is Bissell, and what Bissell is doing with trying to add to their product line is they added more products to clean up after pets, which a lot of people have pets. A lot of people understand the cleanup aspect of that, and they wanted to take advantage of that, as well as Morton, which is a salt company. They instead of just going with traditional table salt and salt for like water softeners and things like that, they developed a line of snow and ice melt salt to be able to benefit people who deal with those wintry conditions like we do here in Pennsylvania. Alright, you're definitely going to want to know some of the characteristics of a good brand name. I want to make sure that there are some in here that you're aware of. Make sure you read over all of these and know them, but there are some that I just really want to point out. Short and simple is usually really good. The longer the name, the harder it is to be able to read it, to recognize it, to pronounce it, the more difficult it is. And that actually just combined the first four there. Can be pronounced in only one way. You don't want to have something that's very difficult to understand how to say the name. I know that a lot of people had trouble with Hyundai when it came out, and they weren't sure exactly how to pronounce it. A lot of people still don't know exactly how to pronounce it or what they're supposed to say and how they're supposed to what they're supposed to call the company. Translation issues could cause a problem, as we have talked about before. You want to also make sure that nobody else has any kind of brand name that is legally taken. It has to be available for you to use, right, that is not already being used by somebody else. So be sure you take a look at those characteristics of good brand names. Definitely want to know them. And protecting your brand names, your trademarks, any of those things. The Lanham Act, which is from 1946, specifically just spells out what kind of marks can be protected and the exact method of protecting them. Right, there's a lot to this act, but that's the overview that I want you to be aware of. All right, so that's the one thing I want you to know about the Lanham Act. A brand can be a real asset to a company. It absolutely can, but every single company has to protect its own brand. And if a brand becomes any kind of a generic descriptive terminology or word for the entire product category, the protection under the Lanham Act can be lost. And that's not a good thing for the company that owns the brand, but it's good for everybody else because then they can start using it. Some examples are Q-tips and Jell-O and iPod and things like that. Band-Aids as well. Alright, 4 different things here in regards to different types of brands. A family brand is just when the same brand has a lot of different products under it. The book uses the example of Sunkist, which has oranges, it has juices, it has soda, has vitamins and chewables and things like that. Now, in a special case of family branding, there is what's called a licensed brand, which is a well-known brand that sellers pay a fee to use. So these brands become available to use, to be able to be used by companies, but they have to pay a fee to be able to have those. Individual brands are separate brand names for every single product. They can be used for outside and inside competition. Some companies develop different versions of a product so that each one can have a unique position in the market. Toothpaste, I think the book uses toothpaste as an example, where there are a lot of different alterations and versions of toothpaste out there so that they can take advantage of different positions within the market for that. Lastly, generic brands are the products that don't have any brand at all, maybe other than any kind of like an identification of what is in the package, in the product itself. They can be like a low cost, a cheaper alternative for consumers to have available to them as well. All right, manufacturer brands, dealer brands, and battle of the brands. Manufacturer brands are the brands that are created by producers. All right, these are often referred to as national brands as well. They have very wide appeal. These are the Nikes and Under Armours of the world. The dealer brands, commonly referred to as private brands as well, or sometimes private labels, they are created by the intermediaries. These are the retailers and the wholesalers, and they create their own brands to get a higher profit margin for each item that they sell from their own brands. And the battle of the brands just simply is saying that there's a competition between the manufacturer and the dealer brands. Many retailers have actually expanded the lines of products that they sell in their stores, and when they do that, some of them are reducing the amount of space that they are giving to the manufacturer brands, those big well-known brands, because they don't make as much money on those as they do the money that they make off of their own dealer or private labels. For checking your knowledge, Target's Cherokee brand of men's clothing is available only at Target stores. The brand provides a low-cost alternative to other men's fashions available at department stores and via catalogs. The Cherokee brand is look through the options there. If it is a brand that is Target's brand, that is going to be your dealer brand. That would be letter B. And we're talking about packaging here. Packaging, the first issue, packaging can enhance the product. It can do more than just hold the product. It can do more than just protect the product. Packaging can make it easier to use, safer to use. It can deter shoplifting, potentially, depending upon how it's packaged and any kind of deterrents that they have on there. It can be also designed to achieve ecological objectives, do some more eco-friendly packaging, and some people are going to look at that when they buy products to determine whether or not they should or should not buy a product from a certain company. Packaging can send a message as well. It can visually help to tie the product to any other elements of your promotional mix. It can convey information. If you think about foods and drinks, they have nutritional information on them, so packaging can send that particular message that they have there and promote the brand at that point of purchase. Third one, packaging can lower distribution costs. Good packaging can not only save space, and it can also save weight so that they are easier to transport from one place to another. They're easier to handle, and once they're in the store, they're easier to display as well. And greener packaging creates value for buyers and sellers. A lot of consumers are really interested in making choices that are more eco-friendly. Excuse me. Most sustainable packaging actually has lower costs for producers now as well, so they can benefit from the cost standpoint. Alright, Heinz is a new ketchup bottle that has the cap on the bottom instead of the top. The bottle uses gravity to help the consumers get every last drop of ketchup out of the bottle. The cap is also designed to pour cleanly so that the dried ketchup does not accumulate around the opening. This new bottle demonstrates how packaging can, and you're looking down through those, either promote, protect, lower distribution costs, incorporate UP codes, or enhance the product usage. Well, this is all about making the product better for the consumer, so that would be letter E, and enhancing product usage. And lastly, what is socially responsible packaging? packaging can hurt the environment. There are a lot of ecological concerns that are becoming more and more prevalent and prominent in society and in business in regards to packaging decisions. They got to make sure that the packaging that they are creating is recyclable and is not very harmful to the environment. The Federal Fair Packaging and Labeling Act, this is from 1966, and it does require that consumer goods be clearly labeled in easy to understand terms, to give us as consumers more information about the product. Make sure that we can understand it and we know what's inside of it, what's going on, we know all the ins and outs. There still can be some ethical issues that remain even after this act was passed, this legislation was passed. Some companies have been accused of designing packages that conceal downsized products. The packages themselves stay the same size, but the products get smaller. Dealer branded products are often packaged to look very similar to the manufacturer brand. So the retailers are making their products packaging look just like that of the larger manufacturing companies that are out there as well, to try to confuse people and consumers and try to get them to buy their packaging or their products instead of that of the manufacturing brands. And this is the end of video number 2.